Welcome to the Pyramid of Peace here in the beautiful heart of the Andes Mountains of Ecuador. I am Kira, and together we are expanding consciousness. Now, this is a really amazing moment, and I am honored that you are here. Why am I honored that you are here? Because today we are starting a 4-week journey. And this journey began many eons ago. I know that most of you have been tuning in for the past 4 weeks as we have relaunched this incredible show, because this is more than just a show. This is a library. It is a library of consciousness itself. It is a library of answers, questions, and hopefully inspirations for you. Why am I doing this? Why is this happening? It's happening because it's important for you to know you are not alone and you are not crazy. And right now, I know that many are afraid, and there's lots of reasons to be afraid. And that's why this journey matters. This is a journey of discovery. And we will take this journey over 4 episodes beginning today. So I encourage you to sit back, relax, get your favorite beverage, and really pay attention. Because today, we're learning through our own human nature. We're going to start looking at our human nature, our interior self, and how the energy of fear and grief and doubt can propel us. Consider this right now. Bring a hand to your heart. And as you do, notice what you're noticing. What is your mind saying to you right now? What are your emotions saying to you? How did you find this program? Whatever the reasons are, they are your divine nature calling you forward, calling you in right now. Because there are 3 phases of consciousness itself. And those 3 phases tie to our linear age. You know, I'm going to stop for a second because I really hope that you've watched the past 4 episodes. But if you haven't, let me catch you up just a little bit. We are currently at a moment where the new era is already birthing. Now, what do I mean by that? How is this new era already birthing? Well, it's birthing through your life. Consider your stories, consider your life. You know, for me, on January 18th, 2024, everything ended. In a second, I think my screams were heard around the world. I was in so much denial that I didn't realize that when I walked into a hospital with Sri Ramka with a 104-degree fever, that 5 days later, he wasn't coming home. That 22 years of my life exploded in front of me. And all I could do was scream because I knew my life had ended. I knew that that life was over. I knew that nothing was going to bring it back. I knew that this was it. And yes, I was afraid. I was more than afraid, I was terrified. I was really terrified. And when people are afraid, they give away their power. And so I began to start giving away my power. And I gave it away willingly because I was so broken and so hurt, and my grief was so extreme, so unprepared. You know those 5 stages of grief we all go through, right? I got stuck in every one of them. Every single one of them was a precious tool that was forcing me to get ready for this moment right now. I was hurt. I was scared. And during that moment, you know what I learned? What I learned the most? Human nature. I got to witness human nature. Since that period of time, I got to witness people that rise. How many of you right now, are you going through something that's just almost unbearable? Or do you know someone that's going through something that's almost unbearable, yet they're still here? I'm still here. You're still here. Why are we all here? Because we are expanding consciousness itself. And you are the vehicle. Your beautiful body, your beautiful life experience. Remember that through the sacred sequence of incarnation, we all chose to be here now. And when Sri Ramka and I got together, despite everything that we assumed was true and were intuiting, the universe had one idea, that only one of us would be able to sustain the frequency needed to be able to actually bring the anchoring of the yoga of self-ascension into this field of potentiality at a time of great fear, at a time of choice. We move through our lives in 3 phases: awareness, experience, and choice. And it's an ever-refining cycle. It's an ever-refining loop that we get to ride upon, whether we think we know about it or not. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you think you know about it. It's happening anyway. And that was part of what I learned as well, that you cannot control the experience of the expansion. And simultaneously, the expansion's happening. Your expansion is happening just like mine. So what do? We start becoming aware, conscious awareness, to be aware of that which we did not even know existed. We move through so many cycles in our lives, and it's the 3 ages, or the 3 seasons, or the 3 beautiful cycles, the 3 journeys, whatever word feels good for you matters not. But it's a series of 3 lives. And I really enjoy, here in Ecuador, I really enjoy that they call our 3rd life our tercera edad, our 3rd life. And it's a beautiful way to describe this. And so I'm going to co-opt that language. I'm going to be talking about our 1st life, our 2nd life, and our 3rd life. And how in our 1st life, it's the taking moment. It's that moment where we're taking and taking and taking because we're getting an awareness. You don't even know what you don't know. I sure didn't. You know, for 22 years, I lived with you, with many of you, in the joy of the continual ensoulment, of all of the bringing in. My body expanded to be able to receive, to bring in thousands of pages of ensoulments. Go to IamKira.net, read them. To bring in over 50 different home study programs, including the entire system of ascended numerology. During those 22 years, all of those miracles happened, and in a second, that life collapsed. Has that ever happened to you? Has your life ever collapsed in a second? Maybe you were in a car accident. Maybe someone you loved with all your heart and soul suddenly decided they didn't want to love you anymore. Maybe you lost that job that you thought was your dream job. Maybe your bank account isn't where you want it to be. Those are those moments. Those are the moments. That's the grit on the pearl. Those are the moments where we get to remember. In my life experience, as I am moving through awareness into the 2nd life of experience, am I harvesting all the jewels that have been put in front of me? Consider that. Think about that for a moment. Self-inquire. Have the courage to go within and self-inquire. Have you ever seen a mosaic? You know those beautiful big mosaics? Like I'm talking about a big one. Like you drive into some city and there's a whole building. I mean, here in Cuenca, Ecuador, there's the most gorgeous mosaics I've ever seen. They're everywhere and they're awe-inspiring. What I find most awe-inspiring about the mosaic is that every single little teeny piece has a purpose. And that when all of those little teeny pieces of tile or ceramic or whatever the mosaic is made of, when they're all laid out, before they're put into the mosaic itself, a couple of them might be pretty ugly, right? You might go, ew, what's this little shard, or what's this, or what's that? And ouch, I don't like that one. But yet, when you put it all together, when you can stand back and see the mosaic, every single piece had to be there to create the beauty, even the ones that are dark and small and painful. The past 2 years for me have been an extraordinary journey in resurrecting my life, in remembering that as we transition through our life phases, we go through awareness, experience, and most importantly, choice. Now, when you discover choice, and you become the conscious creator of choice, that is when everything finds its harmony. That is when the balance comes in, because you are as if standing way up. I like to say, come join me here in the Andes Mountains at 12 Hummingbirds Retreat, and let's gaze in the distance at that beautiful mural. Let's see the beauty of your life. Let's see the beauty of all of our lives. Rather than looking at the pieces, those little shards, those little dark pieces that try to stop us, why not integrate them as part of those 3 stages of consciousness itself, as part of the reason we took this body of form? We are undeniably in the new era. And through that new era, what is important to realize is that through this, in this moment, we have attained a level of conscious awareness ability that we have not ever had before. Now, how are we doing that? I mean, how is that possible? How can we possibly attain that state of being that we have never been at before? It is through our collective journey through the energy of fear. That sounds kind of wild, doesn't it? This is why I'm inviting you. Please go back and watch the first 4 episodes of Expanding Consciousness, of our newly launched series, of this New Era series, because in this encyclopedia, one of the things that we talked about most recently is about trust and love. Trust and love. How's your love life? How are your relationships? How's your work experience? How do you interface with people in the world? You know, many, many, many years ago, my beautiful stepfather, who was just like my father, he was really, really an incredible role model for me. I'll never forget one time he pulled me aside and he said, I want you to remember this. Do not trust those who do not trust. Pretty profound for me. Really breathe that in. Why would he tell me that? Why would he say, don't trust those who do not trust? Well, what I learned over the years is because if you do not trust, then what inside yourself are you not trusting? To withhold trust of the world, to withhold the trust of that which is seeking to support your life, to withhold that energy, is to withhold love. And it begins with the self. Often this lack of self-love is reflected through these 3 stages of consciousness. Remember, we have the first life where it's all about more of the taking and the learning and absorbing. It's where we become aware. And often during that first life, which includes our early childhood, is when we make decisions through our awareness about whether or not self-love is ours to claim. And for many, it often is not. And that's the gift of the second life. And we're going to be going through each one of these in detail. We're going to be going through all of this over the next 4 episodes. But in that second life, we begin to have the experience. Get beat up a little bit, have some love relationships that may not work out, discover things about ourselves. And really, through that experience moment, through that moment of really taking everything that we took, being able to actively put it into motion, right? Those are those building years, the active years, the experience years. Well, through the awareness of the first life, it affects the experience of the second life, from taking to active use. So consider in that moment, where does love really birth through you, with you, and as you? Often through pain. So why is it often through a moment of pain, right? Why is it that our greatest gifts, our greatest growth frequently come through pain? Well, that's part of this specific field of potentiality and something that you chose. Remember, energy is neutral. And your infinite self, your infinite nature is loving every single aspect of this lifetime. No matter what the physical body feels, or the emotional body feels, or the mental body feels, or the spiritual body feels, your conscious awareness, your limitless eternal self is saying, give it all to me, even the pain. Because we're here to feel, we're here to expand, we're here to grow. Remember, you are light. So you're limitless. When I had my near-death experience in 1989, it was profound and frightening. It was beautiful and expansive. And for many years, I held it within because nobody was talking about it. But yet through that pain began the process of remembrance, began coming forward during my second life. And my second life is culminating on September 20th, this 2025, when I will turn 65 and begin my Tercero Edad. my third life. Our first life is awareness. Your second life is the experience. But our third life is the choice. Our third life is the choice to decide what we do with the blessing and the bounty of everything that brought us here now. I know that's why Sri left several years ago, so that when this moment came in the unified field of Sri Ramka Kira Ra, I would be able to stand and be in my Tresero Adad, in my moment of giving back. We take, we experience, we give back. And in our Tresero Adad, we give back through our wisdom, through our presence, through our service, through the understanding that when others are suffering, we understand through our own suffering. It doesn't have to be the same, but it does offer us a moment of depth and clarity, presence and vitality. Remember, this physical body, this one right here, this is meant and designed to last us 120 years on this field of potentiality. Everyone has the potential to do that. Everyone. And we're starting to see more and more centurions. Where I live, they're all over the mountains here. Partially because we walk everywhere, because we breathe fresh air. There is no interference, no planes, nothing overhead, just pure air and pure food grown in incredible soil. And that's part of it. But the other part of it is that your capacity to carry conscious awareness is the ultimate illumination. It is what restores the body. It's what heals the body. It is that ultimate gift of the self-inquiry. What in me invited this to be? You know, when Sri died, and what I endured and what I'll be talking about more over these next few episodes, all of it was worth it. Because in this moment right now, what I know is that we have entered a new era. And it is an interface. It is an interface with that inner matrix. We have been navigating an inner matrix for a long time with a rising interface in AI technology, right? So when your technology, when your addiction to your phone, when you wake up scrolling, you go to bed scrolling, you scroll all day, that is an interface. And the more that you utilize that interface, the more that that interface comes in, the more important it is for you to trust yourself and to remember that trust and love are of the same seed. They are opposites of the same coin. When everything in your life is trying to share with you that you have lost your clarity or that you might feel afraid, remember that that's the interface. And in that interface, it is the moment when you arrive there, it is the moment where your own sense of being, where you're in what I call the borderlands of sanity, right? Your own sense of being is sitting right there gazing at that, which is trying to stop you. And in that moment, it is your heart, it is your trust, it is your love that rises and smiles and begins the journey again. You know, one of my favorite quotes from Archangel Zadkiel from many, many years ago was that you're never going to say yes once. You're going to be asked to say yes every single day. You will be asked to say yes over and over again. To remember that peace, love, and joy are far beyond emotions. They are a state of arrival that you have earned because you keep saying yes to yourself. Every day, wake up. Every day, breathe, and simply bring your hands to your heart and say thank you. It matters not what you think you're saying thank you for. You're breathing, you're here, and that matters. You are navigating an incredible moment of conscious awareness, and I am honored to continue this journey with you. Make sure you are here every single Tuesday when the new podcasts come out. If you're catching this in another time, go watch the rest of these episodes. This 4-part journey is ours because in this moment, everything is emerging. And when everything emerges, it seems like everything's falling apart. If this is the soil and the seed has been in it, and we're starting to see that beautiful beautiful little sprout come up, it has to shake off all the dirt, doesn't it? It has to shake off all the dirt and let it drop so that it can grow. That is the moment we are all in. It is an interface with something we have never seen before, and it's a journey we're ready to take. Remember, you are not crazy, you are not alone, and you have arrived somewhere where you are understood. The yoga of self-ascension is as unique as you are, and I am honored to continue this journey with you. Many blessings, and so it is.